7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's like a tidal wave of stupid, isn't it? The incorrect use of words among flat earthers is frequent and obvious enough that one could probably devote an entire YouTube channel to doing an autopsy on just that subject. However, I've decided to go the conservative route and just make it a regular series. So, without further ado, here are even more words that flat earthers use completely wrong. Number 1. Faith. A Flurfer favorite. They believe that we have faith in the globe, that we have faith in NASA, that we have faith in space. And they're right, we do. But as usual, they're doing it wrong. Faith has two definitions, a religious one and a secular one. The former is the way Flurfers apply it to globers. This is a strong belief in a god or a similar doctrine based upon spirituality instead of physical evidence. However, this is not true of science. Science is not a doctrine. Science is not a rigid system of rules that never shift or become broken. In fact, it's specifically set up so that the rules can be broken. For the last time, flat earthers, the scientific method is, by its very nature, a self-correcting prophecy. It always tells the truth at the time, and when it's shown to be wrong, it gets fixed. Problem is, none of you have ever shown anything to actually be wrong with it. The secular definition of faith, however, is accurate. The word comes from the Latin fidem, meaning trust. In a basic sense, that's all faith is. It's trust or confidence in something for any reason, and we globers do indeed have faith in the globe and space, because of the overwhelming mountains of evidence for it that we have to continually throw in the reality-denying faces of the flatards. Number 2. Oblate Spheroid. Semantics. Flat earthers love to spin people around with wordplay on whether or not the Earth is a perfect sphere, an oblate spheroid, or, the worst one, pear-shaped. I wish Tyson had never used these words.
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out. Yeah. Gets wider in the middle. And so Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. And it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere, it's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped.
I mean, I understood what he meant. Every person with a brain understood what he meant. But for everyone else, we get absolutely ridiculous memes like this. Did anybody actually think that when Tyson described the Earth as pear-shaped, this is what he meant? No. What he meant was that the Earth, which is huge by the way, has a very tiny and overall insignificant bulging both at its equator and at its southern pole. This is caused by its rotation and gravity slightly flattening the Earth in the direction of the axis of rotation. This is the way it's approximated to be in cartography, by the way. You know, those things we use to get around here on Earth? Here's how insignificant the pole and equator bulges really are. Have a look at this image from one of my subscribers, Jormungandr. Am I saying that right? I'll leave a link to his channel below. Anyway, here you've got two circles. One of them is the oblate spheroid, the pear shape of Earth. One is a perfect circle. Which is which, flat earthers? Number 3. Torr. Ooh, that pesky vacuum of space, it gets them every time. Mark Sargent likes to use the word Torr to make himself sound smart, but it doesn't really work when he's wrong every single time he uses it.
That being said, how is the negative 10 Torr vacuum force of space not ripping off the atmosphere of this world?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Neither does living with his mom.
Mark's favorites were having iced applesauce with our...
It's not... I mean, it was one of my favorites when I was young.
Well, you like it now, too.
So what is Torr? Torr is a unit of pressure to represent the atmosphere and its gradient in relation to the vacuum of space. It is now defined as 1 over 760 of a standard atmosphere, or 101,325 pascals. How do flat earthers use the word wrong? Very simple. It's based on an absolute scale. What this means is that it begins at a 0 point and travels in only one direction. In the case of Torr, no, Mark Sargent, space isn't at -10 Torr. It's at 0 Torr. Number 4. Falsifiable. Flirps have a belief that the heliocentric model is unfalsifiable. To explain, a belief or a theory has falsifiability if it can be proven to be wrong with an alternative statement and observation. Now, I've basically already gone over this in this video. The heliocentric model, and science itself, is self-correcting. When a part of it is falsified, that part is re-examined and reanalyzed and re-critiqued and re-experimented on, and eventually, it's changed. So I guess in a technical way it is unfalsifiable, because anytime it is falsified, it fixes itself. So, temporarily falsifiable. Ugh, semantics. Number 5. Experiment. Since they don't understand the abstract concepts of science or the scientific method, of course they wouldn't understand the practices that go into it. When flat earthers do experiments, they're usually looking for something to confirm their beliefs. They find a landmark that they think should be hidden by curvature. They set up a warehouse demonstration that they think shows perspective by filming a quarter on a warped cement floor. They play ISS footage in slow motion and compare it to Hollywood effects and declare it busted. But none of that comports with the definition of an experiment. An experiment requires a precise setup, measurements of every single possible factor, ensuring as close to perfect conditions as you can possibly get, predicting the results, explaining why those results would occur, and then performing the experiment ad nauseum. And then you record the results, every single detail of them. Then you analyze the results. Then you write up a detailed explanation of these results. Then you publish it and thrust it out into the unforgiving eternal winter of the scientific community. If it survives being subjected to the winds and storms and feral wolves that will attempt to tear it to shreds by searching for any vulnerability or hole or flaw or limitation, then it is a good experiment. These are things that take a minimum of months and a maximum of generations of lifetimes. Michelson-Morley, for instance, needed to be repeated over and over and over again, and after months still came back with a null result, essentially proving nothing. I've never actually seen a flat earther do a real experiment. Number 6. Horizon. The horizon is the linchpin of this whole conspiracy. When you first hear about flat earth, your instinct will be to look out to the horizon. You will find that place where the land meets the sky, the vanishing point where you can no longer see the world beyond. A flat earther will tell you that this horizon always rises to eye level. Now, first of all, I'm going to make an admission. I don't fully understand what this is supposed to do with the earth being flat. The horizon rises to eye level? Okay. Your eye rises to horizon level. Maybe it's a natural instinct thing. I honestly don't get this. If anyone wants to explain this better, please do. Alan Bradbury, you're up, my friend. But here's what I know. The horizon does not always rise to eye level. There's more than a few observations that have been done to prove this, and I intend to do my own relatively soon. I live fairly close to the CN Tower, one of the tallest buildings in the world. I'm going to drag my rear up that glass elevator and show you all just where the horizon goes on the way. Stay tuned. Number 7. Pseudoscience. This one I feel like I barely need to go into with any detail. Pseudoscience is fake science. The word pseudo itself is an adjective meaning not genuine. Pseudoscience is characterized by contradictory, exaggerated, or outright false claims. It often takes a position that's difficult or impossible to falsify, in order to prevent cross-examination from other experts. It's science that's specifically designed to hide how faulty and wrong it is. A few examples of pseudoscience can be found in the works of con man, author and spokesperson David Wolfe. This guy promotes a lot of rubbish, from anti-vaccination and flat earth itself, but the worst and stupidest one to me is raw foodism. I mean, it's really basic knowledge that cooking your food kills bacteria, activates more nutritional gain from it, and frankly, tastes better. If you want to see how dishonest David Wolfe is, just try and post a comment critical of him on his Facebook page. Watch how quickly it gets marked as spam. Basically, anytime a flat earther uses this word, they're using it wrong. The heliocentric model and the scientific method fit none of the qualifications of pseudoscience. It's the exact opposite of it. It's not contradictory, it's not exaggerated, and everything it states is categorically true. It's also extremely open to criticism and known to be altered from time to time when it is found to be faulty. This is the definition of science, not pseudoscience. Number 8. Perspective. You knew this one was coming eventually. I could probably do a whole video on just this word. It's the key to the flat earth movement. to a point where they've made the word completely meaningless and replaced it with their own version, Flerspective. Flerspective is the Flat Earth go-to for explaining away any phenomenon that doesn't work on their model, or lack thereof. For instance, the sun. It doesn't set below the horizon, it goes far enough away that we can't see it anymore. Of course, this doesn't explain anything, because objects disappearing due to perspective will shrink in totality before disappearing, and the sun does not. Neither do ships over the horizon. Neither do mountains as you approach from a distance, or buildings, or anything. No part of perspective can account for objects disappearing bottom first, but they keep clinging to this nonsense, despite having no working explanation for it. I'm not even going into the ridiculous warehouse floor experiments. It doesn't work, flatties. I feel like going back to pseudoscience is the right way to explain Flat Earth. It's always about misinterpreting the rules and laws of our world, and using confirmation bias to make things seem like they line up. We have to be smarter than this. We have to keep a firm understanding on scientific concepts, and if we do that, we'll come to the conclusion that the Earth is round. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel, which is Dead Kennedy in Space. My name is Kevin, and I'm out.
Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand.